pushing myself to the. Yeah, I must be blind cause the way that it's looking, I'm trying, but I don't see no competition.
Oh my god. CXC is back. CXC,
back, baby.
The culture. I didn't dress properly for this. I just have a skilled in every position shirt.
So good, baby.
Dude.
It's not even we're back. We're here.
We're here. We've arrived. We fucking arrived. Bro.
What's up, y'all?
Culture Crossover's back after a year, after lots of stuff has happened, and we are back, and we have revamped things. You see, there's probably a new logo that I don't think we started using before, and now we got a new vibe. The new vibe is we're going to go back, and we're going to listen to music that we always loved, and we're going to see how it fits in to our lives now, and like just the culture now, just kind of just like chill, and we're calling it for now. The tentative name is Legacy Check. We'll see what where the legacy is. But it's going to be weird when we call it Legacy Check when we review something new. But that's okay. We'll figure it out. This is the Legacy Check brought to you by the Culture Crossover or CXC, whatever you want to call us. Because we're fucking back.
Yes, baby. We're ready to go this time. We're just fucking like, we're hungry for a comeback. And honestly, like, let's just get fucking right to business.
All right, dude. And we couldn't come back without anybody other than the great 50 Cent, but not Get Rich or Die Trying, the Massacre.
Yes.
We are back, and we're going to talk about the Massacre. We're going to do a legacy check on Massacre to see where it's at now. And we're just going to go through a few. I'm going to cough. Oh, my God. I shouldn't eat candy while doing this. We're just going to go through the whole album, talk about it. We're going to have a few episodes that'll come out later where we review a few songs, but let's get into it. You want to do a little bit of like a framing of what we're doing? Or do you want me to do it? I can do it too.
Why don't you do it?
Okay. So we're going to go through a few things. We're going to talk about just the history overall, which I'm going to lean on you for because I don't know no history. We're going to talk about the production, the features, how the whole album was sequenced, what the cultural significance was then, what it is kind of now, how it's aged, and what kind of... We're going to do this new grading system because we're going to do like a Top Gear type grading system where we'll see where things rank as we like kind of grade them just for fun. No one needs to come at us. You know what I mean? It's just for fun. You know, we're only talking about stuff we like. So it's going to be
this is our personal take. This is our personal, like from our experience.
Exactly.
And All right. Just want to make that clear.
So like we said, we're getting into the Massacre today. You want to do some little history of where the Massacre was? It's obviously 50's sophomore album after the amazing premiere of Get Rich or Die Trying and after Beg for Mercy, correct?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that was a G-Unit project, but yeah, in terms of a timeline, this came after G-Unit, which is funny because the record labels like Interscope, they wanted 50. I mean, Get Rich or Die Trying was hip hop's biggest debut, you know, when, you know, I think Doggy Style from Snoop Dogg set the bar high when it dropped in the early 90s. But when Get Rich or Die Trying came out and all the records it sold and just the critical acclaim that it got from fans and critics, of course, I think going into this project, 50 had some unrealistic expectations, a lot of pressure. Right?
Oh yeah. You like it's almost a burden to have done that well up front. Like the expectation is only going to be sky high. You're almost set up to fail because like you did so well the first time. It's like being a rookie, winning MVP, winning Super Bowl MVP. You can never, like, you have to do exactly that again. Otherwise, you're like a one-hit wonder, right?
Yeah. Like, do it again. Let's see you do it again. Yeah. And my personal take is like, in the perspective, it's like if this album wasn't going to be damn near perfect, it was going to get criticized no matter what. So I think... Yeah. So how do we want to delve further into this?
Is there any more history? Is there any more history? Because then we can just jump right into it.
Yeah. Okay. I'll say this much.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of cool facts about the Massacre, like when you really go back and do some research.
Yeah.
The thing is, right after Get Rich or Die Trying, and this is where 50 is like such a genius, right? After Get Rich or Die Trying and all that success that came with it, Interscope, they wanted a second album, solo album from 50. 50 was like, no, I'm going to put my people on Get Rich or Die, Beg for Mercy, right? He put that out with G-Unit, Lloyd Banks solo projects, Young Buck, The Game, with the success of Documentary. to kick in the what was it, 2005 is when Massacre came out, I believe. So all this success spearheaded from 50, and from the early stages of coming up with this album, 50. First of all, the name of the album originally was the St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right?
Yeah.
And 50 wanted to have it dropped on Valentine's Day to kind of fit that theme, but there was a lot of pushback from Interscope, and there was a lot of drama surrounding 50. I'm sure you probably remember if you kind of think back into all the controversy and all the beefs and feuds that 50 had.
Yeah.
Like 50 was very vocal about everything, and he was open book at the same time. Like he's like and super competitive. So there was a lot of stories that from interviews that he put out, like his original approach to the album was a little bit more personal.
Yeah.
He was talking about, he said the first song actually that he recorded for Massacre was God Gave Me Style. Which was like, for his grandma. And then when when he played it for her, she was appreciative of it, but she told something of 50, which 50 kind of kept close to his heart moving into further with the album, which was, I appreciate it basically, but don't forget why they loved you in the first place. So 50 started leaning more towards the aggressive content that we know him of. And so some of the earlier songs that he had set for Massacre were songs like Hate It or Love It. How We Do was another one, but these are records that would go on to, he reserved that for the documentary for the game.
Which really changed like the perspective. Like when you were telling me that, when we were talking about this, like doing this episode, it changes kind of like the idea of what this album could have been for me, because the songs you're saying that were on the documentary are like my favorite songs off of the documentary for the most part. So it's crazy that those got maybe not taken away, but taken away from, for the Games album. So crazy. The crazy history behind it. And I don't want to cut you off, but we're doing this new thing. We're not going to make 40-minute episodes anymore. We're going to do 25-minute episodes at most. So we can talk a little bit. You have anything else left for history before we go?
I want to say one more thing, because this kind of built a lot of anticipation for the album. So the Interscope, they had some concerns because they wanted the sophomore album from 50 to be just as successful as Get Rich or Die Trying. And so they didn't want 50 to drop on February. They wanted the Games album to breathe a little bit. It was a successful debut from the Game. And there was some pushback from Interscope, but 50, being his own man, he was doing things. He decided to kind of take matters in his own hand, and he was killing the mixtape game at the same time, feeding his underground audience. So he was purposefully leaking songs like Disco Inferno and Candy Shop on his mixtapes and stuff. And that started generating the buzz on itself. So like there was a little bit of a give and take between Interscope and 50 to the point where once there was enough traction built up, Interscope was like, all right, we'll give you like, I think the album went on to release in like March or something. But anyways, they agreed on a release date. He dropped the same Valentine's Day and just stuck with the Massacre. And then, the rest is history, and we can dive deeper from here.
All right. Speaking of Disco Inferno and Candy Shop, I think at least Candy Shop, I would say both, are very memorable beats. Like I think when they come on, you know exactly what the song is, which leads me into our first topic of production. Like taking it from a lens of, back in 2005 when we heard it to maybe even just now, how do you feel about the production of the album overall? Who were the producers? I probably should know all this, but I didn't do homework well. I was never a good student. Yeah.
It's all good. I always kind of paid attention to the production credits and just all the credits in general. But, aside from Dre and M, of course, Scott Storch, who was the hottest producer in the game at the time. He produced the beat for Candy Shop. He produced the beat for Just a Little Bit.
Those both beats sound like Scott Storch beats. Like you didn't have to tell me those.
Yeah. And we're talking like, this isn't long after Lean Back. Lean Back was a massive success for Fat Joe, right? That came out like, the year before, I think. So Scott Storch is the hottest producer out. you know? So 50 had access to not only Dre and M, Scott Storch, but he was also, I also heard through some interviews where 50 was getting beats on like blank CDs. So and picking them based on what he liked and gravitated to, so that he wouldn't be biased when making a selection based on who he knows made the beat.
Got you.
Which is funny because when you look at like Massacre as in its entirety, nothing really feels out of place, would you say? Like everything feels pretty cohesive in terms of the album, I would say.
I think we'll get into this with the sequencing, but I think when you listen to it, it is an album meant to listen to through, not just pick your own, like, I mean, you can always do pick your own playlist type of thing off an album, but having revisited it many years later as an adult who now, like, we do this podcast and stuff, and like now sequencing has become a thing that I really care about in an album, if it's especially going to be like an art piece or whatever, it was sequenced well because it's worth listening to from 1, 2, 3 all the way to 20, not just like skipping around. You can obviously skip around, everyone does, but like if you listen to it like how we've been listening to it probably now for the last month, it is an album that was meant, like, it's theatric. I will put it on that. It's a theatric album.
That intro.
Yes.
That intro is pretty fucking crazy, bro.
Yes, exactly. It's theatrical. That's what it is. It's a theatrical ass album. That's what it is, in my opinion.
Yes.
But production-wise too, it's a theatrical production. I think I didn't know this. I just Wikipedia'd it because I didn't do the research on production, but I didn't know that I'm Supposed to Die Tonight was an M produced that. So that's pretty fucking dope. Yeah.
M was in his bag. It's funny that you say theatrical because I had cinematic.
Yeah, exactly. Synonyms. Fucking synonyms.
And 50 played nicely into these different themes, right? With my toy, like Toy Soldier, Candy Shop, and like all these. There was a lot of like sexual, like music that was catered to the women. And Get Rich only had 21 questions.
Yeah,
well, absolutely. But I think 50 was finally leaning more into making music that like the ladies can appreciate, and also keeping the street shit on there too.
Yeah, no, it worked. It worked perfectly. Like, to be honest, I still love. I think to me, Candy Shop has gotten a little annoying to me at this point, but just a little bit has not. And we're talking now 21 years later. Like, just a little bit is still not annoying. To be honest, Disco Inferno is a little annoying now, right? Because they just overplayed the fuck out of it. But just a little bit still hits every single time. It hits just a little bit.
So we're talking pre-streaming. Like, I remember when they did like an official premiere of the video for Candy Shop, which was like that was
look good.
Steamy. Oof, it was a steamy video. Yeah.
But let's get into sequencing, if you're okay with that. Are you good with that?
Let's get right to it.
We're going out of order a little bit, but just because we already started talking about it, like I was saying, like, I think this album was put together perfectly from a front to back listen. I don't think I ever did that because, like, when this came out, I was 14, maybe 15 years old. So like, I didn't have any ear or artistic ear for anything, right? So listening to it full on out, like, I'm looking at all the track lists right now. Like, it does one of these. I feel like it like will give you a good like thug serious song, and then give you a fucking pop song, but then come back down. Like, you're literally going from like just a little bit to My Toy Soldier down to like Position of Power, but then back to like with Jamie Foxx and Build 'Em Up. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I think it was just
that would go on to be his formula for the rest of his discography.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because I'm looking at it like a Baltimore Love Thing goes into rider music, which if you really think about like the two types of songs those are, it's a nice like kind of like drop down or like a build up to like a serious song, and then kind of a drop down and then back into like a party music. I think that's perfectly done. It's nothing like just thrown into your face, if that makes sense.
And just like straight up gangsta shit. Like like you don't. The album reminds you throughout the track list. There's constant reminders. Like, you're listening to like a straight up Massacre. Like, there's guns come out. Toy Soldier, like I was saying earlier. Gatman and Robin, right?
Yeah. I'm Supposed to Die Tonight. Shit.
In My Hood. Yeah, I'm supposed to, like, 50 really leans heavily into that aggressive gangsta content. And I mean, who better than 50? I mean, he was just look at the cover, man.
Yeah.
Look at the cover.
Fucking dude, still jacked.
He's
2 albums later, still
ready.
jacked as shit, right?
Yeah.
Going to features. Let's talk features in this. There's only there's not only a few, but it's not like a few. I wouldn't call this like I don't. Speaking of features, I don't remember this album for its features. And I know M is on this, but I don't think about Eminem in these features. Like when I think Get Rich, and we'll talk about it when we do a Get Rich like review. Get Rich, I think about some of the features and how like amazing they are. Like 50 carried the show on this one. Like in Get Rich, like you could argue Eminem had better verses like on Don't Push Me or like Patiently Waiting. You could make an argument, right? Here, like there's no reliance on features, in my opinion. I think they're placed in a way that like it makes sense. Like having Olivia doing Candy Shop feature is like it's just adding to the experience. It's not like playing this game of like, you know, like when people and like
but that was different for 50, right? That was like you were hearing him doing the duets. Now he was kind of taking a page out of Ja Rule's book of like getting females to do hooks on his songs.
Yeah, I mean, and it worked.
And it worked.
It worked.
Yeah,
like it worked. I don't know if it worked as well as it worked for Ja Rule, but like it worked. It worked. I mean, that's a different argument. That's a different argument. Yeah. The artists that Ja Rule worked with were bigger female artists too. That's also why, right? Yeah. So, but let's not go down that. I know what I triggered. I'm pulling it back.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I was just trying to come up with some examples at the top of my head, but go ahead. But you go ahead and finish.
I want you to talk about features. How you feel about the feature game here?
Okay, as a fan, right? I remember trying to find out as much as I could about who was going to be on the album prior to the release. Sure. I knew most of it would be in-house because 50 at the time was beefing with everybody.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
So I knew there wasn't going to be a whole lot of like people outside of the Shady Aftermath unit camp.
Yeah.
But funny enough, okay, where was I going with this?
Jamie Foxx?
No, so because I don't want to talk out of order, but you know, aside from the M feature, I was looking out for an Eminem and Dr. Dre feature. We didn't get Dre, but aside from production, but we did get M on Gatman and Robin, and I mean that was, I think, at the peak of the Shady Aftermath success and like the height of like that empire. I love that 50 and M continued to do collabs and continued to be animated and like have fun with it and try different things. Like Gatman and Robin, like it wasn't too far fetched from something that we would expect from M because we've seen him do it with Business and Eminem Show, but like 50 kind of entering M's world with that while staying true to his own like artistry. I thought that was really brilliant how they pulled it off, and they were playing off of each other beautifully. It's funny because ironically I didn't like the song at first because I had crazy expectations of what I wanted to hear, but it grew on me and it became one of my favorites. More on that later.
Speaking of, sorry, I'm just gonna, since you're talking about Gatman and Robin, I felt the exact same way when I never really liked the song. Now listening it back, I have a better appreciation for it. It's still not something I'm like going back to. For some reason, I don't like 50 doing that business thing because Dr. Dre, you know, like people are writing the music for him, and he acts really well in that. Like him and Eminem's like relationship of them being kind of silly or whatever. It works really well. With 50, I don't like it for some reason. It's not like not my vibe, you know?
Yeah, I get that actually. I get that because it's like they could find other ways to like they did it great with Patiently Waiting, right? And like don't push me.
Yeah, Don't Push Me was fantastic. That's one of my favorite songs.
That was more getting entering 50,
which I feel like is still authentic, right? Like we always hear the stories about how he is as like a person and doesn't back down. But like 50 like was not really ever a silly person. So for him to be silly, it kind of feels a little like off. Like he's done things in like social media, but like we've learned that that's just coming from petty. It's not coming from silly. It comes from petty, which is what he is to the core. But I want to keep you going on features.
Yeah, no, okay. So jumping into some of the other features, like I thought the Hate It or Love It remix was a brilliant move, including that as part of the track list as a bonus cut, featuring all the G-Unit members, including Game, which at that point, by the time the album Massacre came out, I'm pretty sure they were estranged. Like their relationship was like, you know, they were already feuding at that point. But 50 kept that remix in there, and that was a huge record.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people pay note to this, like low-key, this fun fact, but Buck's small verse on there,
Mhm.
he was voicing his frustrations a little bit too. He says something, quote, and I ain't even got my feet wet yet. 7-figure who ain't seen a royalty check. So like, it was crazy, man, because it was a crazy time at the height of G-Unit success and 50 success. Like there was all these different, like, you were still getting like some very honest verses from.
Is that confirmed that was a jab? Is that confirmed, or is that your thinking?
Buck. No, Buck.
Okay.
In an interview, Big Buck touched on that too. He's like, yeah, I threw that out there. Yeah. So I thought it was funny, but
why would he get royalty checks that early? The music hasn't been out that long.
I
But
know.
all right, whatever. That doesn't even make sense. But all right, I thought it would have been like whatever. Never mind. Not gonna touch that with a 10-foot pole. So it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so feature-wise, like, I think you said it best. There's not much I could add. I think as fans, I think we were expecting a little bit more, but, you know, it didn't take away from
it. Didn't need it. I think if I'm trying to go back, like, now, like, 11 years at this point, I'm trying to go 11 or 12 years at this point, and I'm trying to think back, like, after Get Rich came out, after Beg for Mercy came out, and I guess a bunch of the G-Unit like artist albums came out, right? They all had come out by then, or so like
except for Yayo. I think Yayo came out like after Massacre.
So I'm thinking of all of that. Like, I don't know if I cared what features were gonna be. I probably just wanted Eminem to be on there at that point. Like, we couldn't have expected anybody. Everyone hated him at that point, so you weren't gonna get like
50. There was no one bigger than 50. We wanted like some titans on this album, and it's a shame that
he pushed them all away.
I know, but he created a an event, right?
Yeah.
50 was a true showman. His showmanship and like, for example, Piggy Bank, he called everybody out.
Yeah,
and instead of just leaving it off wax, is like he included it as part of like the marketing strategy of releasing the album.
Something 50's never been as scared of anybody.
Which I love.
In unshocking news, in unbreaking news, right? All right, let's go to cultural significance. I think we talked about it a lot, so we don't need to dwell. This is his sophomore album after the biggest debut of a hip hop album ever, right? So I think that I think we can go into cultural significance and like how it's aged. Like when we can put it together, I think we should melt those two together just as a time thing. But I think it was a massive deal when it came out. I think looking at it now, 12 years later, I think in 12 years ago, I think it probably failed the test of how well is it going to do, because it was no possible way that 50 was going to be bigger than he was after Get Rich. Like he was set up to fail, quote unquote, from a standpoint of just like numbers and like nothing he could have done would have been better, right? But giving it like time to breathe and now listening to it by itself, fantastic art. It's a fantastic album. It's something that I think that as a culture is not talked about enough, because everyone, when you talk 50, you think Get Rich. That's all you think about. But like, this was a very solid album. Was it better than Get Rich? Hell no. It's not. I think it's a whole tier below. But like that tier of Get Rich is like God tier. It is like the untouchable classics that you cannot argue as a fan of hip hop is in that list. Like him or not, you know what it is, right? It's like 36 Chambers. Like, it's like that. You know what I mean? It's Life After Death. It's like that. Like, it's untouchable. So I'd say cultural significance then, I think it was a letdown overall. Just like being honest, it was a letdown because of the hype that it could never have been. But looking at it later, that's an unfair assessment, I think, because it was a great piece of work. And I think we didn't give it, no one was going to give it a chance because there was no way it could be better. And we wanted it to be better somehow, just logically. But that's my 2 cents.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. And I think for the most part, I would say I would agree. And I think this is from like my perspective, it feels like people rate it higher now than they did when it first came
100%.
out.
I'm one of those people.
I feel like that's kind of like you were touching
100%.
on that a little bit.
100%.
Also, let's not forget, commercially, this was hugely successful.
Of course.
50 delivered 1.1 million copies sold in the first like 4 days. Physical copies.
Yeah.
In the first for like that
can
already.
I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I'm playing devil's advocate. Okay, this is me specifically playing devil's advocate. You think those numbers would be the same in streaming, where like because you don't know what it's going to be on with physical copies, everyone buys the copy, right? As opposed to, do you think that if people like got the album, would they keep listening to it when it came out, or would they just like be disappointed and not get those numbers?
Oof.
You know what I mean? And this is me again. I'm saying that this was a great album, but I'll say it honestly. Like, I was disappointed in the album back then. Again, I was 15 years old, so don't fucking throw rocks at me. I was 15, right? But like, I was expecting unrealistic, you know? So
I still think it would have done the numbers that it did. You know, streaming, I'm sure it would have looked a little bit different. But 50 was still, he was still bigger than life at that time. And I think you can't take anything away from it. And this is what I have basically jotted down. I said, culturally significant. I don't know if it brought anything new, so to speak, but I gotta give 50 a lot of credit for talking that talk and also backing it up while spreading success like a ripple effect throughout his whole camp. When it came to campaigning his album and selling records, 50 always had true showmanship. He not only sold you the album, but he painted the picture along the way. His antics, his feuds, interviews, merchandise, shooting music videos for each song on his album, which hadn't been done before. He shot a video for every song on Massacre, by the way. And
I did not know that.
Yes, you could.
They're
all on YouTube. I mean, they're not like, they're just like, you could tell he's like mini music videos. Like, and he's always taken risks, but he did it with so much confidence. I mean, he made rappers and fans pay more attention to things like record sales, and he competed his ass off. And I think as far as how it's aged, you know, we already talked about that, I think. But culturally significant, I think there was a lot of things formulaically that the next generation of rappers that kind of followed that grit and melodic sound, I'm sure they took some notes from 50 based on like, you know, the music he was making from Massacre and Get Rich and that whole era.
100%. So what we're gonna do real quick when we end every episode, we're gonna do this. We're gonna go through rating each category, 1 through 5. Okay, 1 through 5, and what's it called? We're gonna give a final rating at the end. We're gonna make this little list, right, of each category, and then we'll do one like closing thoughts really quick, and we'll sign out. Cool?
Yeah. Okay. So do we have the overall thoughts on it?
We're going to do the overall thoughts at the very end. Give your last statement real quick, because I think we've beat this thing down at this point of how we feel about it. So production, what was your 1 out of 5 on production?
Oof.
Or we can do 1 out of 10 if that feels better.
Oh, we could do 1 out of 5. It's fine.
Okay. I'll tell you right now, it's a 3.7 for me.
Okay.
It has very memorable songs.
I was going to say 3.5.
You want to stick with 3.5?
It has very memorable songs.
It has very memorable songs like Candy Shop, like we talked about, just a little bit, Out of Control. Those beats come back up very quickly. So it's definitely top half for me, right? But it's nothing like this. The song that I think about, Get Rich or Die Trying, is In the Club, which is like a 10 out of 10, right? It's 5 out of 5. I don't think, I'm just comparing it to itself a little bit, comparing 50 to himself. I think the production in Get Rich or Die Trying was obviously better. You know what I mean? And in Beg for Mercy was better for production wise. So I'm just giving it a notch down at 3.7. A 4 and higher to me is like, I didn't like 2 songs, or like there's one thing wrong with it, but like I love the way it sounded.
Yeah, I think it was like the production. Okay, I like what you're saying, but I think the production was great.
Yes.
I think it was bold. It was great quality, but I do feel like it was a little too polished. Like Get Rich or Die Trying, Beg for Mercy, these albums had the right balance of grit and of like aggression versus like sections in the album where it kind of like, you know, it kind of would taper off and go into something, you know, like something a little bit more lighter. Yeah,
I know how to explain it. The hit songs on this album, like the party songs, like those songs, the production is very top notch, right? Everything else I think is like one step down. Whereas like in Get Rich or Die Trying, In the Club is great, but also is
If I Can't.
like I Can't is very memorable. Don't Push Me, that beat is very memorable the way it starts, you know what I mean? As opposed to, I don't think that exists here. Like Rider music has a nice beat to it, but it's fine. Like I think the lyrically it's better than it is production wise, beat wise. So that's where I'm at.
I was gonna make this point later, but I'll just say it now because it feels like it's right on par with what we're saying. I think like I give it a 3.5 because of, like, again, you said it best. We're comparing it to itself. We're comparing it, subconsciously with like his prior releases.
Yeah.
And there's just too much filler, in my opinion. Too much filler on here. Like too many club records. Too many like, it was missing that like balance, that right balance. It was like a 23, 24 long track list, I think.
Yeah.
It was a long album. So there was things that maybe we could have taken out as like from a fan perspective. We could have taken out some of those fillers and kind of put together a little bit more concise album where not every other song feels like a club or party record. I know what he was doing. He was capitalizing off of that sound because he had beautifully tapped into it, but it does take away from like the legacy of the album too.
That's fair.
When you think about it.
That goes into sequencing then. How is it sequenced as a piece of like, this is what I'm going to say probably every time we do this. How is it sequenced as a piece of art? Should it be listened to front to back? Does it need to be? Should it not be?
I don't think it matters. I don't think it really matters. I think you could listen to it from front to back, but again, like if you start from just a little bit or Bitch Get in My Car or something like you'll probably find yourself going right into like a position of power. Like you're not going to veer too far off with a lot of the songs on here. So I think which it also helps the listenability, like the listening experience of the album. So like you could start from the end, you could start from the beginning. I don't think it really makes a difference in my opinion.
So I put it at 4.2. I think it was done perfect, really, really well. It wasn't a storytelling album, so it's never going to be a 5. To me, a 5 or like a 4 or 5 or higher is like an album that like it relies on the sequencing and it was perfectly done that way. Or it like a 0 or like a 1 is like, what the fuck? You're making it an emotional roller coaster, which is not in a good way, in a bad way. So
you said 4 point what?
2.
What did you say? 4.2. I'll give you know what, like, and again, what I was just saying just now, like, I'm not taking away from the album. It's still like worked to 50's advantage the way the album came out, even after like scrapping the original concept and this was the final product. I still think he delivered 4.5, I would say.
Okay, we gotta go quicker. We're already at 30 minutes. That's why. Sorry,
I know. I was trying to get
we
to
can
my
always
point.
go. Okay, cultural significance. I'm going 4. It was very significant. It was the follow-up, right? It was the follow-up, but I think Get Rich is like a 5. So this can't be a 5. You know what I mean? If that's the Richter scale that I'm going on, it's got to be a little bit lower.
So what are you giving it?
A 4, straight 4.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4.
I mean, yeah, like it just Get Rich is a 5. So how is this going to be a 5? You know how it's aged. To be honest, I'm going 4. 4. 4. The reason I think it's like if you are like a younger person right now, it's going to be different. But if you're like kind of from our era or older, it's exactly what you want to hear. It's not hard to listen to. Like, and I think if you're also a younger person and you listen to the just the hits, it'll work. It'll still work. So like, is it Biggie culture, like living up? Like, like I still think Biggie songs like have aged so well. Like Big Papa and stuff have just aged so well through like generations. It's not that, but like if you are someone that just got into hip hop and you hear just a little bit, you're gonna be like, yo, this shit still sounds really good. It's not out of place. So 4.4.
Okay. I think those projects where Get Rich had a lot more depth to it and a lot more storytelling. I think lyricism kind of took a little bit of a backseat on this album because 50 was just way too successful and had just so much success pouring in that he didn't really need to make this album. But, at the end of the day, I would say I give it a 4.0 in terms of how it's aged because it still made an impact. And, some of those records still get played to this very day.
100%. All right. final thoughts. What before we wrap it up, just mind the time. We're really far over. So final sentence or two, or if you have a bar off of the album that you want to say, go for it. I do not, because I forgot. So,
well, I think we could agree that the bar from "I'm Supposed to Die Tonight," that's one of the hardest bars of the album.
Yeah. Take me to him. Yep. Which one? Which bar? I'm forgetting. I don't remember.
The angel line. Fuck, bro.
Satan's Angel, that one, right? Am I?
Yeah, we have to get it.
God damn it.
Fuck, bro. I think you had it before.
I know, I forgot. Was that the one I was gonna say today? Did I say that to you already?
Yeah. I'm pulling it up, bro. I don't care what you say. Okay. Fuck. Okay, he says, sometimes I sit and look at life from a different angle. Don't know if I'm God's child or I'm Satan's angel. I think that's such a hard line.
It is, yes. Okay, that's mine. You can't take that. That was mine. That was gonna be my song too. So I picked that. That's mine. You pick something else.
Well, I always loved 50 for being braggadocious and flexing. So he has a line in Gatman and Robin, which is, if a masterpiece was murder, I'd major in art.
Damn. All right. That's a
crazy.
fucking bar. That's a fucking bar. All right. I'm just gonna wrap this up with this fantastic album. If you haven't listened to it, you should go check it out, because if you haven't listened to it in a while, you should check it out, because it will make you reappreciate 50 and like his mark on hip hop overall. That's my pitch.
I got some final thoughts too.
You have 1 minute. Go.
I think it was a solid project, 50, and this was what many consider the downfall of his career from this point forward. I remember people were already starting to hate him and count him out, but he delivered, man. Unfortunately, the evolution or progression with his solo albums from here would start to drop a little bit, but 50 stayed true to his artistry. And, it's still considered a success in terms of what it did in his discography and just what it did commercially at that point. You can't take away from history.
100%. You can't. And with that, this was CXC. This is Culture Crossover, and we just did a legacy check on 50 Cent, The Massacre. Go check it out. Go check us out. Make sure you follow us everywhere. Bye, y'all.
Pushing myself to the limit. Pushing myself to the... Yeah, I must be blind cause the way that it's looking, I'm trying, but I don't see no competition. I got success in my future, man. How do I know it? There's privacy, no premonition.